Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris and this is my Lord of the Rings hobby, and in today's video I'm going to be making a 3 foot by 3 foot gaming table, and this is based on the Rohan sort of theme, very grassy area and so forth, and it's basically to match the new War of the Rohirrim set they've done, because it comes with a 3 foot by 3 foot battle map, playing mat, and I thought, oh, that's cool, but I wanted to make something a bit more colourful and something a bit more bright for people to look at really, and to play on. Sadly my set didn't arrive in the post in time. I'm guessing Games Workshop forgot to send me a free one, I don't know, but yeah, so we're going to crack on with it. Is there anything I need to tell you? Not a lot. I made a few mistakes on this board too, but I'm going to show you as I go along the video any little things I did make, and some things what I thought was a mistake actually worked out really well. So let's get on to the gluing. So PVA glue on a board, I'm using MDF board here cut for 3 foot. I've also put a nice little a frame underneath it, so that'll keep it nice and straight and also stop it from warping. So yeah, PVA all over, and then I'm going to use normal XPF, as you can see this grey stuff, and then I'm just going to stick that down once I've started gluing. So this is it now, just slowly using quite a few little weights there to keep everything nice and flat, and that will get it squish it on so it can all bond properly. There probably is a different material I should use than PVA. I've seen other people use different stuff. I believe strong as nails, it might be the way forward, so I will look into that eventually. So what I decided to do, I knew I wanted a rock facing sort of like cliff area, so I wanted this like a little watchtower. Sadly I don't have a watchtower printed or anything made, but I wanted to make it ready for that, if that makes sense. So what I decided to do quickly is have a look at the area and then try and build pathways of what I'm thinking of how I would want the board to look. I'm not going to lie, none of this actually goes through. I end up changing it completely, but yeah, I was just working out space and so forth. But if you see the stuff I made on the right hand side of the XPF, again, that's just out of 50mm I think, and I've just done 2, and I'll show you what I do later on in the video. So once I was happy where everything was hills, you'll see more little hills come up. They're not really hills, little ridges. I then started to use the hot glue gun, which didn't work, so I moved then to PVA glue, which didn't really work as well as I wanted to. It didn't bond. I tried press fitting it, putting a bit of pressure there. So in the end, I changed it to using modeling compound from Geek Gaming Scenic, and that seemed to help me loads. So I did that, and in a few minutes you'll see me also stick it around the edge of the other bit of the cliff, and yeah, it just helped a lot more. So I'll just quickly show you that now. So once I was happy with it all glued in place, well, stuck in place, I had a load of compound around that, which you'll see in a second, and then I moved on to another layer. So yeah, let's skip on to that bit and I'll show you how that was done. So once I was happy with that, my camera's gone grey. Oh no, it's just, okay, never mind, it's just the actual colouring of the board, sorry. So once I was happy with the down below, as you can see, I've added more rocks around the side, and then I looked at it and I didn't like the way the platform worked. So in the end I was like, right, I'm going to make it, but I'm going to make it look like it's carved out of stone, because I kind of want like an amateur job at it. I don't want it to be like the Dwarven stuff where everything's nice and clean and, you know, like Numenorian. I want this like the Westmen. So this is like your Rohan lads have said, oh, there's a little thing here, we're going to carve into this a bit, and then we're going to put a watchtower on the top. So this is me adding more compound. I cut that down, and again, I didn't want this to look like it's fully cut, so basically it looks like they've just literally cut it in half, like it's just, they've let it weathered, let the whatever taken care of, and tried the best, and it looks really good towards the end. It's just what's the word, it's just at the moment you have to trust the process, and that's the main thing about this whole board. I would say that I had to trust the process from start to finish, and then to get where we did, which I was really happy with. So quick update, this is me just showing you everything stuck in, not the best video bit of it, but yeah. So I was happy with everything. I'm just going to let this all dry, and then I probably wasted a couple of hours, maybe even a day, I think half a day, and came back to it, and then on to the next bit, which was actually getting texture on the floor. At first I actually thought I used the wrong sand, which I kind of did, but for this it worked out really well, because I wasn't using a static grass, which I originally wanted to, using the stuff in the flock, what I do using the fine flock, which I'll show you later on. This actually worked really well. It was just bloody messy. This has gone everywhere, but it's really cheap and it does the job. So yeah, again, like I said, just trust the process, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finally done. So yeah, the grains were a bit too big, but like I said, it works out, so we're going to get onto that. So once I let this dry again for probably another day, I think it was, yeah, roughly about 24 hours of letting it dry, I was like, right, now it's time to add the paint. And for some reason this sand just loved the paint, it just absorbed it, and ended up running out of paint after a bit. So I'd done a bit of touch-ups as the board goes on, just going around and finding as much brown paint I can, not bothered about the shading because most of it's going to be covered. And in the end it actually looks good. Again, like I said, trust the process, I don't want to keep going on about it. So all I did here was use burnt umber for a base colour. I'm not going to dry brush this at all, there's no point. I'm just going to put this down as a nice little base coat underneath everything. There we go, quick update. As you can see, it's still wet. Again, leaving this for like 3 or 4 hours. You can see where I'm doing the hilltop. You can see little bits of mist, but don't worry about that. Now, once I was happy with everything, I went on to painting the rocks. The brown had dried, going onto the rocks. Now, this took a bit longer than I wanted to, and then I changed it. As you can see, that moved. So I changed it. So what I did is I went and got the spray of Mechanica Standard Grey. Used that, sprayed that over. That helped me. And then I went over a dry brush with the normal paint. The only thing I did notice, I got a couple of little white specks which are shown there a second ago, and I'm not too sure what's caused that. I don't know if it's a plasterboard I've used or the plaster I've used, so I need to quickly Google if there's better plaster. But again, I thought I'm going to stick with the process because I can cover, we can hide stuff, and that's the main thing I kept trying to think of, is I can hide stuff. Let's not make an enemy of trying to get this perfect yet. Let's hide it and see where we go. So the next colour I use is dry stone, dawnstone grey, or dawnstone, yeah, got dawnstone grey or whatever it's called. I use that as a dry brush, but a heavy dry brush, so you can see I'm trying to really pick out the top bits of the stone, leaving the recesses in. If you wanted to, you could add a wash in between that stage of the base and then that, but because I was in a rush and I wanted to get it done, I didn't have time to keep leaving it, so I just thought, right, I'll dry brush this whole thing and then move on to the next bit. So again, letting it dry, because it's dry brush, it's really quick, easy step. So the next one I use this is, I think it's Terminator stone. I love this. I think this is one of the greatest dry brushes for any stone or any brickwork. Probably even just dirt itself, because it's quite a bony colour. But it just highlights everything. So again, I went around, did this on all the stone and all the little bits, not just that bit here, but all across all of it. I'm just showing you this one because it's the easiest one to zoom in on and just pick up the colours. So once I was happy with the colouring and of the stone, I waited to move on pretty quick from this. So PVA glue, a lot of it, and as you can see here, I'm using quite big stones. And then what we're going to do, we're going to add big stones all the way around it. Then we're going to go to smaller ones, and then we're going to use what they call fine stone, and that's really like a dusty sort of stone. Now I do in the end probably mess this up a bit. You'll probably have a look and go, why has he done that? Because in the future, like I said, the process of this is the only bit which I weren't that happy with. I probably should have done this bit last, but again, trial and by error, we're going to keep going. As you can also see in the corner there, what I'm doing here is that there was where the the plaster had chipped. So I just got some big stones, waxed a load of glue on, and then just added that to it. So once I was happy with the stones, again, now this is where we're just going to cover the whole board. All that detail we've added, we're just going to get a load of PVA glue, water this down quite a bit. I'm just going to paint that over the whole thing, and then we're going to start adding the fun bit, which I'm happy about, which is the flocks. So yeah, this is a really quick step, just PVA glue, and then we're going to add flock. So the only thing I did kind of mess up on is the flock where it went over the stone. So as you'll see in a second, I think I was just tired after work and so forth trying to fit this in, but there you go, gone straight over the rock and so forth. Don't mind it over the big rock, but the little pebbles and rocks I've just put in, so they get absolutely covered. Some bits come off, some bits stay on, but then I was thinking about realistically and making it look like moss, so I kind of use that mentality of going, well actually, let's just call it like it's just very overgrown, it's not really looked after. Rohan don't really care about it, the greener the better, so the more green what takes over the better. Yeah, so slowly adding this on, and this is what I would call a base colour, and this is I can't remember what company I bought it from. I normally buy most of my stuff from World War Gaming or World War Scenics. I think it's called World War Scenics, I think they're called, and they do a lot of train stuff, but sadly all their flock was sold out, except for the 2 flocks I bought like last year to do a build. So I was like, oh, okay. So I went up to Hobbycraft, bought these, can't remember the colour, I think these are called like All Terrain, and this is their base. It's called a base set. So this colour, big pack, went all over, used it. I think it only cost a couple of quid, so it wasn't that bad, maybe £4. And then I moved on then to lighting it up, which I'll show you now. So what I'm not doing at either is letting this dry in between processes. I'm literally, because I've covered it, caped it all over, I'm just going to quickly going through all these little fine scatter train. I can't remember the colour. I think it's like foliage, but it's fine foliage. So it's basically really cut up. I don't know what you class that as, but it's really fine, coarse foliage. So I do that, and as you can see now I'm putting on like the lighter brown, like a dead grass, sort of yellowy grass. And then once I've done that, I'm also I will add that onto another layer of stuff. I just want to make clear, show you that, well, not show you, but tell you that I'm also blowing this with my mouth, because some of the bits where it did drop, it just dropped in a heap, and I knew that it'd take too long to dry. So as you can see, I'm literally going around the board. I'm just giving it a quick blow, making sure all of it's everywhere it needs to be, mixing correctly to try and get that natural, realistic look. And some bits might not look fully great, but again, I was really happy with when I added it all, and added maybe too much some places. As you can see there, me just blowing it everywhere to get it just moving around, making it fun, and just, yeah, having fun with it. That's all I can do. And the last bit I did was add some coarse clumps of the, this is World War Scenics again, and then I just literally sprinkled it around. It's slightly bigger. You probably won't be able to tell much on here or not, but the slightly darker green, so I started to use that over the board and just bring all that up. Again, just added a bit more colours and a bit more depth to the board. And then once I was happy with everything, I soaked this in PVA glue again, and then I used PVA glue and isopropyl alcohol. I think that's how you pronounce it. Might be wrong. IPS, I think, or IPO, IPS, or whatever it's called. Isopropyl alcohol. I used that all over the board, and I just soaked, and you can still see now it's still a bit wet. I think even when I finish recording this video as my little diorama bit, what I do, some of the bits are still wet, but again, after a couple of days it will be fine. The only thing I will say that I actually don't have space for this board after making it, so I'm not too sure what I'm going to do. I don't really want to sell it, but I kind of want to give it, I might have a look and see if anyone in the wargaming thing near me would happily take it. I might speak to Element Games to see if they know anything. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me in this video and in this board making. I'm actually really happy with the end bits, which you're going to see in a second. A little mess around with me pretending to know what I'm doing with the film and camera. But yeah, I enjoyed all of it. Thank you very much for watching. If you do like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.